Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is pretty great. Um, yeah, it's a good day. Episode 2005. And like I said yesterday, I don't think we're going to continue doing the year in review for me going forward. We'll talk about it when it's important. But like 2005 is one of those years that's really, I, at the end of 2004, I was a new father with a job running a parts department, and I bought a house. That was still the case in 2005. Like the same things were happening. I don't know that there was any major events in 2005. The one thing I'm muddy on is when I quit the parts department job. I feel like it might have been in 2005. Uh, just for time, like I know where the next job was, and I know when the next job ended, and I know everything forward from that. But I don't have a solid, like, oh, this job lasted this long. I feel like I used to think that my parts job was like for 4 years, but it couldn't have been. There's no way that it would. I don't even think it could have been a full two. I think it was more like a year and some, like almost 2 years. But I'm not positive. So in 2005, that's when I guess when life started to become a little bit more mundane, a little bit more just the usual, just doing the normal stuff. Um, like, settling down and just being a family person and doing the thing. I believe, though, that 2005 was when I discovered clean cut Avery business cards and I started prototyping board games heavily. I was making card games a lot in 2005, 2006, 2007, up until about 2010 or so. I was heavily designing, and then I took a break. We'll get to that when we get to those years. But really, there not much happened. It was just a year. So again, I don't think we're going to continue doing the year in reviews. We'll just maybe do little updates like that if it interests you. And you can tell me what happened for you in 2005. Were there any big events in your life in 2005? Because that's interesting. I like hearing quite a few comments about what's been going on in your life during these years. And that's been super fun for me to read and respond to. So thank you, everybody who does that. I appreciate that. But that aside, this morning I released another article on my website. If you haven't been following along over there, I've been trying to do an article a week. I don't know that I've hit that mark, but it doesn't really matter. It's more or less just trying to just get in the habit of writing, of something I've been trying to do for 5 years now. But I think I've hit a stride, or not hit a stride. I think I've found something fresh. No, that's not it either. I have a writing group. I think I've found a writing group just through one of my other communities. I found a very small group of us in that community are writers or trying to be writers. And we have formed a little writing group. There's like 4 of us. So it's a very small group. And I've been saying for a long time, I think I need a writing group. I think I need people to bounce ideas off of. I think I need people to be alpha readers while I'm in the trenches trying to tell a story. And I think I have that now. I think I have a group of people that I can trust to give honest feedback, and that's really important. Now, the article on the website has nothing to do with that, because the article on the website that I published today, I wrote, I believe in February, maybe even January. It was one of the articles I wrote earlier this year. I almost released it a couple weeks ago, but I thought it was junk. Over this week, I edited it. So this article that if you go read today, I did not run this through AI. I edited myself, and I still haven't. I'm not going to run it through AI. This is be what I would call a second draft if I could. Ultimately, I ran out of time. I wanted to add a little bit more at the third part of that video, or the third part of that story. There's a little, I feel like the ending is lacking in a sense. It's not really, I told 2 kind of disjointed stories, and I meant to summarize that, and I didn't do a good job of that. But I ran out of time. If I'd had more time, I think it would have expanded by a few hundred words. I would have added a couple more paragraphs or whatever. but I'm happy with it. Like it's a good article. So go check it out. If you like what I'm doing over there, please feel free to share those articles. I think that um, I'm going to continue to try to write them. But all of that, writing regularly on that site, writing regularly in real life. I've been using my Kindle Scribe every day, writing notes, writing stuff, writing. Like literally, I have pages of freehand writing of story ideas or thoughts. And I have begun the process of pre-writing for a book, which is a good thing. I have the other book that's still sitting there, and I've been working on it slowly. And I think I told you about that book. It's kind of based on this. I have 6 or 7 parts to that, and I'll keep working on that as I think on it. But I've started outlining and filling in backstory and that sort of stuff for a sort of horror thriller ish type book. I don't know if it'll be a full length novel, but I have a story in mind that I think I came up with last year, and I think I started pre-writing somewhere. I searched through the journals that I have. I threw a lot of them away. I used to have like here's my role-playing journal, here's my writing journal, here's my shop journal, and I've taken all of those journals have gotten kind of discarded and forgotten over the years. And recently, very recently, I went through all of them and picked out the important parts, made sure I had that stuff documented. Most of it was ideas, like first drafts of ideas, and I've expanded on them in other journals or through actually writing. And so I threw those away. And I think I think I had some pre-writing for this story, but that's okay. Like I think the exciting part for me is figuring the story out. And I don't want to do too much of that up front. So I have now written some backstory for some characters, a backstory for what's going to happen in the book. I have an idea what's going to happen. I know that, you know, being it's a horror-ish story, there's got to be a person versus a monster or an unknown, and they have to not want to face it and then face it and then, you know, whatever. So there's that. I already have that. I know what that is. Or I have an idea that might be what it is. I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. But I have a solid first scene planned. I think the first chapter will be about 3 scenes. So I have the first scene planned, and I'm just going to write it. And then I'll write. Then I'll figure out what the next scene is, and I'll write that. And maybe the first chapter will only be 2 scenes. I don't know. But I have an idea. I'm gonna weave my way through it and see what happens. And now that I have like we're calling ourselves. I think everybody's calling. This isn't unique. Accountability buddies. Now that we have accountability buddies through the writing group, I think that a couple of us have made commitments to really try to go for it next year. One of the persons in the group, one of the people in the group, has sold a story before, and has a couple of others. I've read 2 other stories from this person, and I really liked one of them. Like I thought about it a good bit, and I think it would be a really excellent story to get. I think that story will easily get published. It just needs to find the publisher. So I'm excited to have somebody to bounce stuff off of, a nice little tight group of people that I know. I think I know them personally, or I have at least met them personally. So I think that's a good thing. I think I've been wanting, if you know, every author ever has talked about their writing group, and I've always thought, man, that's got to be the secret. Because for me, that feedback, that being able to talk about it and work through it together, that's super important, and I've never had that, so I'm excited to have that. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So this weekend, New Year's, I got tools I need to get set up that are in the way right now. Like I had to climb over them to sit down, and I've got projects, baseboards and door trim that needs to be. That's what these tools are for. These need put away. The shop needs cleaned up. Tools everywhere. I got a busy weekend, I think. There's going to be lots of projects. And I'll have a kid. So, what do you got going on? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends, wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. No, I'll see you on Monday. Today's word you should know to sound smart is temperance. It is an noun meaning abstinence from consuming alcoholic beverages. Cicero said that temperance is the firm and moderate dominion of reason over passion and other righteous impulses of the mind. Temperance, Temperance. Is it only about alcoholism? I know there was a temperance movement, but is temperance? Could you not show temperance in other aspects of your life?